Hello, everyone. This is Raid Radio. As always, I'm here, your host, Dab, with my lovable, huggable co host, Ro, and his buddy, Ultrix. Say hello.
Hey,
Hello, good
Hello.
evening, good afternoon, good morning. We have a special show, don't we, Dab?
Oh, the specialist.
So we have Aldrix here that's going to be talking about the Demonhunter changes for both Havoc and Vengeance. So do you want to introduce yourself, Aldrix?
right. I'm Ultrix. I've been raiding as a Demon Hunter main since the beginning of Legion through all of the raids, and the new changes look pretty interesting.
What would you say the biggest change for Demon Hunters that we're seeing is going to be?
Biggest change is for sure what they're going to bring to group content is Chaos Brand. So whenever they damage a target, it's going to leave a debuff on the target, making them take increased magic damage by 5%.
Yeah, that one does look pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more meaningful in, I think, higher level content like, Mythic raids. I don't know about small group content, if it's going to matter as much, like, especially if you're stacking physical damage, like, say you're in a dungeon, you've got a rogue demon hunter and a hunter, it's not going to have that big of an impact.
So do you think it's going to be way easier to get into groups now with that?
Maybe. At least in higher level stuff, you're probably gonna, like, big raids where you're guaranteed to have a lot of magic users. For sure, you're probably gonna see at least one demon hunter. At least, you know?
And this was, I don't know if you know the history of this, but this Chaos brand was originally going to be an ability for Warlock. So, do you have any ideas, or do you want to speculate any on why you think that they're taking it from Warlock and give it to you? Do you think that it's because overall you might be a little bit weaker next expansion?
I'm honestly not too sure. Do warlocks get, well, I guess they already get, like, soul stones and summoning stones.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
don't think the Warlocks are getting any sort of like raid utility buff other than the battle races.
Yeah, they've already got quite a bit. This could just be their way of giving them something extra to bring to the table.
So, you think it's because, I mean, you do bring up a good point where Warlocks already had a lot of raid utility. So, maybe it is the reason that they're sort of taking this utility away from them and giving it to you is because, I mean, Warlocks already have a ton.
Yeah, yeah, that could be the reason.
For the people at
But
home
we'll
who
never
don't
know.
know, can you sort of explain what Chaos Brand does, like how it functions?
Oh yeah, it's. I think it's just going to be a flat 5% damage increase. Who knows if it's going to, stack onto, say, a 15% damage increase, give you essentially 20%. I'm not sure how they're going to make the math work into that exactly. It could be, mm, there's multiplicative and additive, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
could just be
it looks like
flat.
it's just like instant cast right now or something like that. I wonder if they're gonna add any sort of cooldown or anything like that to it.
The way it's described, it looks like it's just applied on damage. So
So it would be like the type of thing where as long as your Demon Hunter is alive, you'll have this Chaos Brand up.
pretty much, and it even lasts for a minute. So even if he dies, I assume it sticks onto the target for the whole minute still.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they have it up for a minute, so that
Yeah,
if you die near the end of the boss fight, it will still last for a little while.
right.
And this is going to definitely make Demon Hunters more, I guess, in a higher like point in priority for like battle reses because a 5% magic damage increase in a rating setting is pretty substantial. So like if your demon hunter goes down, you're gonna want to bring him back up.
Yeah, because of course you're not just bringing up his damage, you're bringing up all the other magic users' damage,
Yeah.
which is quite the pull.
And especially in a longer fight, like a 10-minute fight, you're gonna definitely want them to stay alive.
For sure.
And then of course for the people who don't know, the physical damage version of this is it's a rogue talent that they're gonna get, which is basically the same thing.
Right. Just physical damage.
All right, so is there any other group skills or anything like that that's piquing your interest?
A pretty big one is they're changing Chaos Nova from a 5-second AoE stun, which is very strong right now, especially in dungeons, Useless in a raid setting, but this sounds like it's going to be even more useless in a raid setting because they're changing it to a 5-second disorient.
Oh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
any damage done to them is gonna cancel.
Yep. Not only that, I do believe disorients wipe dots. So if you've got a warlock who's stacking agony, say goodbye to those stacks.
Yeah, I mean, that does basically completely make it useless for a raid environment.
Do you
Even
think
for
it would be worth it for to spam it for AOE damage or?
at least at the very beginning of the fight, because uh, it has a 50% chance to generate lesser soul fragments, which I don't think they're getting this trait baked into them, or at least not yet. But what it used to do was every soul fragment you consumed, whether it was a lesser one or a whole one, it would decrease the cooldown on Chaos Nova by 5 seconds and Eye Beam by 5 seconds for each soul consumed. So there was a lot of synergy in your AoE stun and your AoE. But, it's going to be um, less worth it if you've got someone who's dotting and the mobs are at 50% or so. You're probably just not going to want to use it,
Yeah,
especially since there doesn't seem to be an incentive to consume lesser soul fragments at all now that the trait's not there.
yeah. So what you're saying is, if you get a shitty demon hunter in your group and keeps on spamming that, there's gonna be a lot of pissed off mages and
Yeah, that
warlocks and what
seems
else?
that seems kind of trolly, honestly. I mean, especially if you have like a shadow priest on your group who they're at least at the moment their DPS kind of requires them to dot stuff up. Like
Oh, yeah.
that would be wicked trolly. I feel like I don't know. Do you think that they're going to keep it as a disorient, or are they going to change it back? Like, is there a lot of kickback from the community on the forums? 'Cause that feels like a change that they might revert depending on sort of what happens.
Yeah, so far the only upside is, well, PvP, because you know how you get diminishing returns for certain CCs like stuns and disorients. Well, a lot of classes already have stun, so it's going to be a 5-second disorient in PvP at least, but who really cares?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, there's something to take a note here. They're doing this for a lot of classes where they're getting rid of their stun abilities. Like I'm pretty sure they're getting rid of it for several different priest specs, and that's because from what they've released, at least, they want to make abilities like leg sweep for monks, which they're making in, more special. So they're taking away these stun abilities from other people to make a few classes more special that get to keep their stuns.
Right. The interesting part about that, though, that I saw was I believe leg sweep for monk is no longer going to be 5 seconds, but instead 3 seconds. And it's going to have a longer cooldown by about 15 more seconds, making it a minute long stun. Or a minute long cooldown.
cooldown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not really the only blow to CC as well. I noticed with Monk and Demon Hunter, it's the same. They both Demon Hunter has Imprison, Monk has Paralysis, and they both lock up the target for about a minute. But the biggest change is the cooldowns are being increased from 15 seconds to a whole minute. So it's significantly more punishing if you mess up a CC,
Mhm.
from
And
what I can tell.
this is
Well,
kind of interesting because if you look at a fight like Agrimar for this raid tier at least, you need to have that tight CC on the ads. So it feels like they're making it harder to keep a CC up, which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that personally.
yeah. Well, I mean, and who knows if they're gonna add that mechanic to any more raids in the near future. But you also
Mhm.
have hunters and all other CC out there. But yeah, how do you feel about that for PvP?
For PvP, I mean, it seems like this is going to happen to everyone. This is a pretty big change, though, because CCs like Imprison and Paralysis, and I don't know if it's just those two. I haven't skimmed over the others enough, but that's a pretty big deal.
I mean, they have talked about how during Battle for Azeroth they want to revitalize world PvP and PvP in general. And I don't know if this is something that's sort of maybe like a PvP change that's leaking into PvE, because I know a lot of people hate the current state of PvP with stun locks. So I don't know if this turning these stuns into disorients is part of that. I don't know.
I don't know.
It
I'm
could
excited for it because if you fight a demon hunter in arena, it's just like you're getting locked down and they're just fucking shitting all over your face, and it's annoying.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they're sort of making a change to that. Is there any other major Demon Hunter changes that you think you should bring up or something?
Not really. Most of them are pretty minor. Like we're seeing some traits being baked in, like, from the start. As a Demon Hunter, your Metamorphosis is a 5-minute cooldown. Now they're just making it a 4-minute cooldown.
Yeah.
Which, was thanks to traits that it became like a much shorter cooldown by like a minute. It's not huge, but it makes the class a lot smoother. So there's always that.
Are there any like golden artifact abilities or traits that haven't yet been baked in, but you want to be baked in? Like things that you think will make things much smoother?
Not really. All of the golden traits for Demon Hunter are they're pretty much just lackluster passives. They're nothing too special or crazy. Like, I guess Chaotic Onslaught, but really that's just more RNG that I don't want. And I'm glad to see that it's not making a return in any way.
So have you looked over this I-beam change?
Um. Oh. Oh yeah. That is a change. So it's gone from just AoE to AoE, where the primary target also takes 100% more increased damage.
So
Yeah, that
is I-beam something where you don't see yourself using it a ton in single target? So do you think, is this like a way for them to buff in a single target, or is it just a general buff?
It's currently actually used for single target regularly, because our force set just encourages the use in single target, and then we also have a bunch of talents that synergize well together with I-beam. So yeah.
So could it be possible that then this is the replacement for your force set next expansion, given that we're not going to have sets? As sort of for the people
Right.
who've gotten used to it, maybe.
Right. I-beam used to not be worth casting on single target at all, even during burst. And because of our force set, it now is.
And what does your
So
force set
yeah.
do for the people who don't know?
Yes, the force set, it increases I-beam damage by 40%, and when I-beam finishes channeling, our haste is increased by 25%. So that's a drums whenever you I-beam, pretty much.
Wow,
And
that's
you
pretty
can,
crazy.
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like the Demon Hunter is still going to be really strong in single target, especially this the 100% increased damage.
Oh, sir.
And then it's chaos damage, so that's going to be magic damage, so they're going to get the extra 5% from that.
Well, I didn't know that. Is chaos damage magic damage?
Chaos damage, I believe I read it a while ago. It's a flexible magic type, or like a flexible damage type, and it takes whatever they're least resistant to.
So they're
Which
gonna.
is
Will they get? So will chaos damage then get buffed by your chaos brand?
yes.
Okay.
And any ability that does chaos damage will be buffed by chaos brand, or even I think physical damage. So all Demon Hunter damage will be increased. Wait, what? No,
So
okay, sorry. It's just pure magic damage. Yeah, any chaos damage. So all but like a few abilities.
that's interesting because before, when we had first looked at the boss buffs or boss debuffs you guys applied, I thought it was really weird that you guys got magic damage, but I guess that makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah. The chaos damage is an interesting damage type, especially on the Argus Constellation phase, where each ad takes 100% increased damage to a certain magic type. And for Demon Hunters, that's pretty much every mob. Every mob that you hit with Chaos damage or I-Beam, that's 100% increased damage, whereas someone else, they might get 1 or 2 mobs. But Demon Hunters, they can just go to town on that phase.
It's kind of interesting because
really nice.
I mean, you don't really think about damage types a lot anymore. So it's interesting that, like, you know, the whole chaos damage is actually sort of playing a little bit of a role here at being magic damage. Because, you know, by and large, you really don't think about damage types except for those few fights where it matters.
Right. Damage types used to be a lot more relevant, especially in, like, Molten Core. You just don't bring a mage, or a fire mage, sorry.
Yeah.
So we talked about the general Demon Hunter. Is there any changes for Havoc or Vengeance you want to hit on?
Right. I would like to talk about their talents, because they're going through some pretty big talent changes, and the page just crashed. 1 second.
Okay, we'll give you a second to get that back up. As we're giving him a second to get back up, he's here. He's a very good demon hunter. But in the future, we're looking to, of course, have more quote unquote class experts come and talk about it. So, as always, if you're interested in being a class expert, you can contact us on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, if you can even do that, or just email us at the raidradiocontact@gmail.com, and you know, we'll put you through the paces. And if we think you got the stuff, we're definitely down to have you. Do you have the page back up there?
Yeah, I do. So, probably the most notable change is Momentum and Nemesis will be competing, and what those are, they're pretty much your damage increase buffs, right? And they already compete, but now they've been moved to the very last row. Nemesis still works the exact same way, where, you know, it's a 2-minute cooldown, but it increases damage you inflict against that specific target by 25% for 1 minute. And if slain, it'll increase your damage by 25% against all creatures of that race type.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And yes, the use of Nemesis became popularized, I believe, right before Nighthold. So, which was kind of a dark time for Demon Hunters, because you no longer used Momentum, which was, let's just say it was very fun to play around with, but they made a bunch of different changes where basically you would leave the resource generating to auto attacks. Demon Blades, not fun, not very engaging. You'd use Fell Blades occasionally. And Nemesis would just be a flat part of your burst. It wasn't fun or interactive at all. Yeah, the single target burst build for Demon Hunters was just not great. You would see people either rolling with Chaos Cleave, which is, again, very boring. Chaos Strike hits all nearby enemies for an additional 10% damage. And then First Blood, which gives you an extra button to use in single target. I personally think that talent should have been baseline, because it feels like we already have so little buttons to hit compared to other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
what are you leaning towards Momentum or Nemesis for your future build?
I'm not quite sure, but I think Nemesis potentially will win out in single target again. But Momentum looks very interesting. The old version of Momentum, it used to be Fell Rush and Vengeful Retreat increases your damage done by 20% for 4 seconds. Now it is 15% for 6 seconds, which it makes it much more forgiving in that it lasts 2 more extra seconds. And, you know, less impactful by only being 15% compared to 20%. But they're also baking in another talent to help bring that up, where Vengeful Retreat's cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. Used to be 20, would be 25 seconds without it, but will be 20 seconds with it. And it'll generate 100 Fury over 10 seconds if it damages at least one enemy. Now, the most interesting part about Momentum was you would basically be sacrificing all of your mobility and all of your defensives just for more damage. It was very fun, but yeah, there was a trade-off.
Is there any other big Demon Hunter changes? Do you know anything about changes for Vengeance? Vengeance, the tanking spec?
Right. It looks like they're going to make it a bit more consistent in the sense that, one moment. In the sense that their main filler ability, it used to only have a chance to generate a soul fragment. Now it's guaranteed to generate a soul fragment. So you're guaranteed within those 5 GCDs to have 5 soul fragments. Except abilities will not be consuming 5 soul fragments anymore. Soul Cleave will only consume up to 2, and I believe Soul Bomb will only consume up to 3. So, yeah, it looks like they're getting consistency, and it looks like they're keeping their CC. The biggest part of CCs being Sigil of Chains, which is a talent you can opt into. It's like a budget Gorfiend's Grasp, which is amazing for Mythic pluses. And their silence, their 6-second AoE silence, Sigil of Silence, that's also pretty big in Mythic pluses. That's also going to stay. So Demon Hunter tanks seem like they'll be retaining a lot of their utility and CC capabilities.
So you overall think this is going to be a very positive change for Demon Hunter tanks?
I think so. They're also buffing the way Shattered Soul works, where if you consume a soul fragment, you also get, instead of just a little bit extra health, you get to heal for 8% of all damage taken within the last 5 seconds. So, it's a positive change.
Interesting. So Demon Hunters, of course, they were the new class this expansion. And obviously, a lot of times the new classes, when their new class is released, Blizzard sort of makes them very powerful, and then the expansion afterwards, you see a large nerf. Do you think that's happening with Demon Hunters, or are they retaining the power that they have?
They're definitely not as strong as they used to be during, I believe during the beginning of the expansion, they were very good. Very, very good, and they've definitely toned them down quite a bit. They used to be very good at AoE cleave, and their single target was also pretty good, but they've toned them down. So now they're about middle of the pack, but I believe they can still compete heavily on leaderboards, which is good. You actually see quite a bit of variety on the leaderboards too on Warcraft logs.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the expansion, they're like #1 hands down. Now, other people can compete for the top spot.
Yeah, and about that, I didn't play through WoD, but I heard towards the end it was just about arcane mages and sub rogues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah, so now we're seeing quite a bit of variety.
Yeah, which was nice. And obviously, I'm very interested to see where demon spawns go next expansion, because there's always a little bit of growing pains when you stop being the flavor of the month, the new class. Is there anything else really a big note for Demon Hunters you want to tell us about, or is that about it?
I mean, that's pretty much it. The biggest changes being they're going to have a lot of traits baked in, but they're also going to have some just become talents. But they're not too drastic. It's not like Shadow Priest having to talent into Void Torrent. You know, it's nothing super critical like that. I think we're going to see more interesting builds from Havoc as well, because there seem to be quite a bit more options. that are much more flexible, but definitely toned down CC capabilities for sure.
Well, if that's it, we'd like to thank you for we'd like to thank you for coming and telling us about Demon Hunters. Very informative, very interesting.
Right. Thank you for having me.
And no worries. Uh, of course, like I said before, contact us if you're interested in being a class expert, like our main man here. But let's talk about something classy here. Let's talk about the new capital cities. They're pretty crazy. You know, they're big. They're huge.
Yeah,
It's been a while since
they
we
do
saw
look pretty
capital
big.
city.
Would you say it's almost as big as Stormwind and Ogremar, kind of big?
Yeah, I'd say it's close. We obviously we don't got our feet in the ground. What did you call it? The No Alpha Club.
Yes, we are in the No Alpha Club, or Beta,
Surprising,
or
right?
whatever it's at this point.
Anyway, no, it's still an alpha. But from what we can see from these screenshots that Wowhead has, it's looking huge, and I'm liking that. And I'm hoping that if it's going to be a huge capital city, it's going to have all the amenities that we expect in a huge capital city, like an auction house and a bank. Of course, it's going to have a bank, but I'm wondering about the auction house.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think it'd be nice to have an auction house because, you know, you have your hearse set to wherever, so it'd be nice just to go to one damn place and not have to pay a mage
if you look
or go to the portals to take a.
if you look
go
at
to auction
the
house.
Crosswoods Commons here, which is like one of the residential districts, there's a few places that I could definitely see an auctioneer standing.
Yeah, somewhere in here. It looks like almost like like an inn or something like that.
We have a bunch of really awesome stuff here, and I'm just kind of interested in how they're going to fill these areas, right? Because obviously they're going to have NPCs, but like what are they going to have?
Yeah. It
I,
it might be a it'd be interesting if they made it like a main questing hub, you know, since it's so big. So you go into the city, get your quests, and you go out and do whatever, or maybe quest inside and kill mobs, something like that.
apparently, you know, you got an okay Alliance capital city. I'd say okay,
No,
but
I think this one's pretty good. I think
well, it's looking even better. It's looking even better. The
what's that?
Horde capital city.
I don't know about that.
We got a toy. We have a toy in the Horde capital city. You have a toy? No.
What's that?
Don't worry about it. We got a toy in the Horde capital city.
You bring it up and you're not even going to talk about it?
It's fresh from Twitch chat. It's just something that you buy, but it's a toy, nonetheless. we also have pictures of the portal room. I didn't see that in your capital city. And if you look at that portal room, it looks like it has portals to everywhere. Even Sunwell, not Sunwell. The what's the Sun City called for Blood Elves? Sun.
Oh,
Silver Moon
Moon
City.
Silver Moon City. There we go. You got Silver Moon City. You got Orgrimmar. You got all the nice man. I don't know. It's just looking more lively. It looks more alive to me.
I think they've just are kind of polishing off the Horde, and then they're gonna start. You know, they're saving the best for last, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna start on the Alliance stuff here pretty soon. It's just my guess. Probably accurate though.
Maybe. But you know what they have in the Horde capital city? And, some people aren't super happy about this.
What's that?
They got mission tables.
Oh yes, the lovely mission tables, huh?
Open up the article about the mission tables here because we got a little bit of information about the mission tables. They're coming back. If you didn't play in WoD, they were introduced in WoD, and I know a lot of people probably hated them in WoD, I included, but they were a great way of making gold. They're going to be included in this expansion, but interestingly enough, they've officially said that you're not going to be getting a what do you call it? Like a no, not a class hall, but you're not going to be getting a phone app to control it, to control your mission table.
I don't know. I personally kind of like the mission tables for the class order halls.
I'm two ways about it. I think it's a good way of making gold if you have no other way of making gold. But I don't like when they're baked in.
I don't know. I like them because they have like the optional quests and stuff like that.
And of course, the Horde city being the better city is way more done than the Alliance city. But of course, as time goes on, we'll get more information about that.
Yeah, and time will tell that the Alliance city is probably going to be way better than the Horde capital city.
You can think that, but the Horde city actually seems to be multiple parts.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting here.
It's very intricate. It's obviously a Zandalari design.
The shortest flight path in WoW to a throne room.
Right?
So, I'm not sure why they added that.
Well,
when you can just run up the stairs.
Sometimes you just don't want to walk. I understand.
Yeah, it's real hard to point your mouse somewhere. And
of course, you're not going to have flying mounts. For a while, at least. It's interesting because this capital city for the Horde is very indoors. Well, the Alliance is a very open capital city. And I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of, honestly, part of me kind of likes that, the more open design aesthetic, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I like the more open design that Boralus has over the sort of closed, very cramped design that the Horde City has. Now it's big; they're both huge, but the Horde City is very cramped, for better or for worse, right?
Yeah, and I like the Alliance capital city art style overall a lot better than the trolls here we're looking at. That's just me though. But,
that's just you.
It's
what I'd consider a wrong opinion. But if you're a Horde player, you know what else you get? You get sexy orcs. Am I right?
Sexy orcs? That might be a bit of a stretch there.
Okay. Now take a look at the Magar orcs.
Mm-hmm.
First off, who's bringing sexy back? Back from the past, blast from the past, blast from Warlords of Draenor. You got some sexy orcs. Like, come on. Now, you might be like, oh, but Dab, that doesn't look super sexy to me. That's because you haven't heard them flirt yet. These orcs, love or hate them, they're flirts. Like, let me drop some of these, and these are gonna work for you, okay? My safe word is zug zug. Look at that. If that isn't hot and heavy, if that doesn't get your motors running, your juice is flowing, I don't know what is.
I don't know.
Okay, how about this? Let's say maybe that's a little bit too saucy for you. You want something a little bit more sensitive. They got sensitive. Like, here's another one. I'm a sensitive guy. Please don't break my mag heart. Get it? Because they're Magar.
Yeah,
har.
I get it. It's
Great.
pretty
Hardy
funny.
Har. They're mag hardy har because they got killer jokes too. Like they say, "Stay frosty, my wolves." Look at that humor, fantastic. Or my favorite kind of music, black rock and roll, of course. That does a guitar sound like a woo. That's sick, dog.
Yeah, I mean they look pretty cool, but
for all the male viewers out there,
sexy or not.
We have sexy female voice lines. Okay, this is a good one. It's enough of this wibbly wobbly timey wimey blah. Just let me smash stuff. Oh, that's a joke, not a flirt. But honestly, it works as a flirt too.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the context, right?
It depends on the context. Yeah.
Man. So any other flirts out there that you like?
Yeah, some of them were too saucy for Twitch.
Are they
too saucy for Twitch?
Too saucy for Twitch? Huh? I don't know about that, but they might
like
be too saucy for you.
Let me give you something that's a little bit more tender, a little bit loving, tender. It warms the heart. It says, "You don't need a dark portal. You've already invaded my heart." Tell me that doesn't get your juices flowing, bro. Your gears running, your motor's turning. Look, you can even customize.
That's a little too cheesy there for me. It's because they come from Outlands, right? So you have to
Yeah,
go through the
they
Dark
come from.
Portal. Yeah.
You know what? Fine, fine. You don't have to. You don't have to like it. Yeah,
No,
it's fine.
I'm not a huge fan of the Horde by any
And okay,
stretch.
you know what's weird
The
though?
trolls,
Here's what's
right?
weird about their flirts. Here's what's weird about their flirts. This is also true about Void Elf flirts. There's a weird BDSM angle that they're coming with. I don't know who. I don't know what intern that Blizzard writes these flirts, but like they're a weird puppy. Because like several of these have a weird BDSM angle to it. Like here's this one. Before we go any further, I need to know how high your pain threshold is. Like what the heck? Talking about safe words, pain thresholds.
Well, orcs
Keep it classy,
they're big
Blizzard.
and tough, right?
Come on,
So they're
come
probably
on,
gonna be
right?
a little rough with you under the sheets.
A little bit, an orc in the streets, a freak in the sheets, of course.
Yeah, probably
So
some biting action, some slapping, stuff like that.
if we're talking about allied races, we also got to talk a little bit about Zandalari. You know what we got about Zandalari recently? We got some druid forms, and in my opinion, in my humble opinion, which is correct, they look amazing.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
So wait, you're telling me you like them? Because I know you've been a big hater on Zandalari. I don't understand that, but so you're telling me you like them?
I really do like the Zandalari forms here. They're pretty awesome looking, to be honest, from what we have here.
I like most of them, but the turtle one's a little bit weird to me.
The turtle?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I guess I'm happy that they didn't just pick another bear, but like the turtle one's weird. Do some animations for it.
I really, really like the turtle one. I think that's probably
Really?
the best looking one.
That's interesting. I don't know. I'm okay with it, but I'm not gonna be I wouldn't be a Zandalari Druid tank, you know. Maybe my standards are just too high, having seen the skunk bear. Or the animations are glitched for him, but that's fine.
Yeah, it looks like they're not working.
Do you like them though? Overall,
yeah,
you say you like them
a lot. I think they look better. I think these look better than the werebear.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big statement, honestly, because the werebear, in my opinion, has been one of the best druid forms that they've released.
I mean, look at this. They're awesome looking. Like if I was to play a horde, I'd probably play this Zandalari Druid.
Don't you have a horde druid, or is it a shaman?
Yeah, I boosted a High Mountain Tauren Druid, and now I'm regretting it.
But the High Mountain Tauren have pretty cool druid forms, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they look like normal, except for they have antlers. But the boomkin, there's no change to the boomkin for them.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I really like these guys. This boomkin form here is really interesting as well.
You know what the boomkin form reminds me of? I don't know. During WoD, there were like Irokis or something like that.
Yep.
They were like the bird people, and they look like that, in my opinion. Obviously,
exactly
with tusk. I think that's interesting. I think it's probably actually the same skeleton, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and there's some people that are reserved or they don't like it because the druids have always been bears and cats and whatever else, right? But the thing is, it's the school that the druid was trained in. Obviously, the Zandalari were cut off from everybody else, so I guess they're going with the school of the turtle. And
it's weird though. We don't have any like, what do you call them? We don't have any like feral forms at all. Not yet, at least. And it's interesting because I vaguely remember hearing that for the Zandalari, they weren't going to be doing a special form for like the attack things because they didn't want to have to change names. But it seems like they're kind of going, away from that.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that the travel forms is Raptor. If anything was going to be a feral form, I'd assume it'd be the Raptor.
Well, it might still be. I mean, what? For a while, you could have a cheetah travel form, and it's like the same thing.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's one of the cooler travel forms they have for certain. Even the pterodactyl one.
Yeah.
I am wondering though if they're gonna make glyphs to I guess have a slightly more traditional form for the characters. Because I could see a lot of people being very against it.
Against the Zandalari forms?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody you know that doesn't like them?
Who doesn't like the Zandalari forms?
Yeah.
Only somebody who I see every morning in the mirror.
Yeah, you don't like these forms, huh?
I kind of like them. They have to grow on me. They have to grow. And here's the thing: I never fucking play a druid, so end of the day, it's just me bitching and moaning. Like, who cares? But I don't know. I'm hoping that they give a way to turn it back in case I want to play it. I guess you just don't have to play the Zandalari Druid. I think about it.
So, the Zandalari already have their own special forms for Druid, but they also have their own totems, don't they?
Yeah, like everyone else. But I think their totems are pretty cool. It obviously keeps with the theme, right? I like the Zandalari totems.
Yeah, they look alright.
They're...
I'm not a big fan of the totems just because of how they look.
What's with you not liking Zandalari architecture?
It's just the troll stuff, man. Just the troll stuff.
I think they're cool personally.
I think WoW just like shoves too much troll crap.
I would say if there's anything about them, they're kind of samey. They look a lot like each other. Like if you were to look up the High Mountain Tauren Shaman things. I'm a High Mountain Tauren Shaman. If you look that up, you'll see that like the High Mountain Tauren Shaman, their forms are wicked different. I mean, like they're not their forms. Their totems are wicked different from each other. I think they look wicked cool.
Like they don't all look like this one.
No, they're different. They have different ones. I don't know if that like a pre-release thing has it, but they do.
Is it in game right now?
Yeah, it's in game now.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I think I like the High Mountain Tauren Shaman totems better than the Zandalari, but I don't think the Zandalari ones are bad. By any stretch of the imagination. I think that they're good, but I don't know. I like the Zandalari, the High Mountain Tauren one better, personally.
But, what I'm interested in is the travel form, the travel form for the shamans. Are they gonna change? Like, is it gonna be a raptor
from the ghost wolf?
Yeah.
There already is it's a glyph or a toy to make your ghost wolf a ghost raptor.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if that ghost raptor form's just baked in, right?
Maybe a higher texture one.
Yeah, whatever one of the current ones is. I think it's interesting. Talking about higher texture stuff here, we got some new models for BFA.
Yeah, we do.
We most certainly do.
I think there's gonna be some old god stuff we're gonna be messing around with. Especially,
what makes you say that? Tell me about it.
I mean, we're looking at these, right? This guy right here, he looks like something, like a faceless one, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
I'll give you that.
There's that, and then this is something out of Ulduar, which almost looks like it, but what was Ulduar? Ulduar was a prison. So for Yogg, the old god.
Well, are we gonna? I thought we were already confirmed to have prison raid next expansion. It was like an old god tomb or whatever. So I could see that being in there. Also, you know what I think that might be for? A battleground. Because that looks like. Do you remember the Kata battleground where you get into the war tank?
Yeah, and they have Wintergrass had the same thing, but
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of these things for battlegrounds.
I agree with you. I don't think they're fun for battlegrounds. That doesn't mean that's it's not what it is.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more of like a raid.
Speaking about new models and everything, I have some brand new models for a bunch of older creatures and characters. Right? Heard about this? This is breaking news. Like it was just tweeted about on Wowhead. I mean, on Twitter.
Like
from Wowhead.
Just now?
Yeah, like just now, maybe 10, 20 minutes. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
When the show was starting, it was tweeted about. I sent you a link. I think that the new models are wicked cool. They're for the older creatures.
It's nice, when you go back and update older models,
Sorry.
especially like the spider. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I don't know. For me personally, I never had a problem with the spider model. I thought the spider model looked fine, the older one, but I don't know. I think it's nice that they're redoing that. They're doing it for all the cats, which will definitely be good for battle pets.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely be good. Because that's what we really needed in WoW was to change the cats.
I mean, okay. Let me bring it to you this way. You're new to the game. You just started playing this expansion. You start your character level 1. What's the first thing you see? Fucking low texture models. And
Yeah.
it puts you off from the game because you're expecting a modern game and you see low texture models. So I think them changing this is part of it's what's probably going to be a wave of changes to overall make the game look higher quality.
Oh, here's a cool cat, a fat cat.
You got fat cats, of course.
Oh, yeah. So I definitely need to get that as a pet.
Also, if you look down at the frogs, some wicked cool frog models.
On the frogs. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, those look pretty cool.
Look at the original frog model
Yeah,
compared to the new
yeah,
one.
that one looks like a box with a leg.
Yeah, right. So overall, I'm happy about this. I think whenever they can make the game look better, it's overall going to be it's going to make new players want to stay in the game more. Something interesting about this is a ton of the things that they're updating the models for from Burning Steps, like you have the giant spiders, lava spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if this is something to do with Dark Iron Dwarves and how you're going to get Dark Iron Dwarves.
It could
Because,
be,
you know,
or it might just be a whole rehaul.
that could be. I think
These
this
guys,
expansion,
the gorillas from Stranglethorn Valley, they're
I,
redoing those.
I think they're doing, or they're going to try to do at least somewhat of what they were doing in Kata of like revitalizing the main world as we know it. Just because during Kata, all the quests and stuff had by that point had been pretty outdated. So I feel like they might be trying to do the same thing except with textures and models because this is supposed to be a more I don't know Azeroth based expansion.
Yeah. So,
I'm always for it.
yeah, I agree. I think the models look a lot better. These horses though look really those look really good.
And now we talked a little bit about Dark Iron Dwarfs, but I don't know if I touched upon this during the mission table thing. But there's for the Alliance at least, there's a ton of talk about Dark Iron Dwarves during the mission table, which is making me feel, just a theory, that Dark Iron Dwarves are going to be obtained through missions for mission tables, or it's going to be directly tied to that.
I don't know about that. I mean, we
What?
still don't know a lot about the Dark Iron Doors, and how they're going to be available. We only
Yeah.
know, we only know a couple things. Their racials and what class. And the only class they're available right now for them is a paladin. So
Yeah, which probably isn't going to stay that way. I would assume at least.
yeah, I assume they're going to be warriors, shamans, all that stuff.
Hunters. I don't know about shamans. I don't think Dark Iron Dwarves can they be shamans.
Dwarves can be shamans, so it
Yeah,
makes
but
sense for
why
them
would
to be shamans.
dwarves can be basically everything except for druids?
Yeah, yeah.
I would be surprised. They're going to cut that list down, and I can see shaman making the cut, not making the cut. Getting sliced. As you can see for the mission table, they have a Dark Iron Dwarf as one of the technicians for Alliance. Maybe I'm making a little bit of a stretch here, but it's just a theory, and I feel like it would make sense.
I don't know. It looks like they almost have one like mission table guy for every race, so that's what they could.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's one of the. I'll put it to you this way: it's one of the few mentions about Dark Iron Dwarves that we've gotten in recent alpha releases. So maybe I'm just starved for Dark Iron Dwarf content. Maybe I'm grasping at straws here.
Yeah.
Any chance I get to talk about Dark Iron Dwarves, I most certainly will.
Yeah. And something I heard about the Dark Iron Dwarves was that they said that Death Knights would be available for them, but I guess they said that was a mistake. So, me being a Death Knight, that really sucks.
No, I can see Dark Iron. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't let Dark Iron Dwarves be Death Knights.
I don't know. I mean, Death Knights have been in the majority of WoW, so it's like, why can't
since rap?
Yeah, why can't they be an allied race? It's
like,
quite frankly, it's pissing me off.
Wait, can they not be any allied race?
They can't be any allied race in the game, and apparently they can't be.
You know what? You know why that is, and it's probably just something like coding and all the magic that works. It's probably something conflicting about starting at level 20 and starting at level 66, and it would probably mess up. Like it would be like if they could be an allied race, everyone would level one of them as an allied race to get the heritage armor, and I think that's something they want to avoid.
Well, I mean, what the fuck? People that main Death Knights can't be an allied race? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of salty about that.
You seem pretty salty, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit too much. Maybe tone it down a little bit.
No,
it's a family show.
BFA
we don't
starts,
want
I'm
to
going
do
to be even more salty. So...
Yeah.
Especially when they announce all this cool shit that the Dark Iron Dwarves are going to have, and, it's just, yeah.
So, do you know about the Dark Iron Dwarf racials?
I've looked over them a little bit, but not off the top of my hands.
I think Dark Iron Dwarf are shaping up to be one of the better races. I mean, looks-wise, I think they look awesome, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like the Zandalari trolls. We got to see that we're gonna get those right off the bat. So I'd be surprised if Dark Iron Dwarves did not get a similar treatment.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Like I said, they're just saving the best for last.
Yeah. So if you're wondering what their racials are, they're gonna get one called Dungeon Dweller, which is a 4% movement buff while indoors. Seems kind of interesting. I see that maybe being useful for Mythic Plus, but unless everyone in your group has it, it's not really going to help.
Yeah.
Fire Blood, which removes all poison, diseases, and cursed magics. It's on 2-minute cooldown. It also increases your primary stat by 100.
Yeah. The dwarves right now have a stone form that kind of does the same deal.
So it's something like that. They also take less physical damage, 1%. Which I think will make them a very viable tanking race for Alliance at least. Then they have Mole Machine, which is like their cool unuse ability, which while outdoors they can summon a mole machine that tunnels through the earth with a 30-minute cooldown. And we haven't really gotten confirmation about where that's going to take them. I would guess maybe to some racial hub or something.
Yeah, well, inside probably like, BRD or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that they're going to get like a bank and a vendor. Something along the lines of what goblins have when they summon their bank guy.
That'd be interesting.
They also have mass production, which means that they speed up the rate at which they do crafting for blacksmithing by twice as much, which I guess is useful, but I don't know. I think blacksmithing is one of those professions where you rarely see someone crafting a ton of stuff. Like if it was like inscription or something, or jewel crafting where you're prospecting for like an hour, I'd see it being useful, but otherwise, I don't know. Doesn't really hit me as super useful. And this actually is interesting, not for them specifically, but next expansion, they're going to be adding glove enchants for crafting speed to increase crafting speed across all professions, and it will be a glove enchant. So that's sort of a side note. They have one for herbing, mining, and skinning. So gathering, but now they're also going to have crafting.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that was like a big deal. Like, oh, jeez, it's blacksmithing stuff. Just takes forever. I wish.
No, it's not. It's not a big deal at all. That's why we didn't talk about it when it was announced, and I'm talking about it as a side note now because it happened. I don't know, weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Whatever. I guess that's my feeling.
Didn't make the doc. But you know what did make the docket, what made the list, and now Roe requires me to tell you this is a spoiler.
Yes, yes. Spoiler alert.
He has a
So
little. He has a little. Don't you have the little GIF or whatever you can put up?
yeah, yeah, it's up right now.
Boom, bam, bosh. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to be spoiled, you came to the wrong place.
You know, you just gotta let people know before things happen. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh, before we get to that, somebody in chat did bring up a good point for the crafting increase. For like speed, double speed, it would be useful if you're trying to re-roll the stats on a blacksmith item, which is true, but it only really matters for the beginning of the expansion because that's really the only use time for, I think, blacksmithing items.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Ro, do you
What's
know
up?
what we're spoiling here?
We're gonna be talking about Queen Azhara and her
Big deal.
storyline.
Big deal.
It is a big deal. So it looks like she's trying to take over the world or some crazy stuff, you know, like everybody else is.
As you do.
Yeah, and of course we're gonna have to stop them, right?
Yeah, Raid Radio will have to stop them because it's our job to take over the world as a media sensation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can keep a straight face for that. But yeah, no, we're gonna have to stop them. She wants to take over the world, but she's starting with the Zandalari trolls, and she's gonna like kind of try to take them in from the inside. And from what I can glean from it, I think she's trying to find her way in through the blood troll. Maybe.
I think she's trying to resurrect someone that's real big and strong and some badass like the Thunder King was for
Yeah, so something like that. And Ro doesn't like trolls. I'm a troll guy, but Ro doesn't like trolls, and I can understand because with trolls, there's always a fear of them resurrecting some big fuck off demon guy or whatever, or like some big Thunder King who fucks shit up. I respect that, But
you respect that.
Queen Azhara is trying to do that, and I think this is interesting because they've confirmed the Queen Azhara raid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if this means that the people we're going to see with her in the raid are not going to necessarily be like other like Naga, but maybe they're going to be like resurrected troll Loa or whatever.
I think probably like at the very beginning of the raid, you're gonna have like your Naga bosses,
Mhm.
and then once you start working your way into it, you're gonna have the blood trolls, and maybe at the end you'll have like if they do get this resurrection off, you fight that thing, and then maybe Queen Azhara or something like that.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of talk about Queen Azhara maybe being a final boss for the expansion. I don't know about that. I think this is probably going to be a midway raid. I think we're going to be getting these quests pretty early on, and this is probably going to be like the quest you do during the first opening raid or whatever. I think the opening raid is going to be the Zandalari Vault one, and then you're going to go into this a second, and then have like a third or fourth bigger raid. But I think it's interesting, honestly. I'm super down with Queen Azhara. She seems like she'll be an awesome raid boss. I'm just hoping they do her justice.
Yeah. Not like old Argus the Unmaker there.
Argus the Unmaker. You mean the one who I unmade first week?
Yeah.
A joke boss. We want, and not just a joke. Here's the problem that they've had with some of these big lore characters, like Agrimar Argus. They make them like three times a gnome's height, or like four times a gnome's height. You should not be able to quantify these huge lore characters by gnome heights, right? Like, or even with Kil'jaeden. Look at Kil'jaeden compared to Archimonde, or Kil'jaeden compared to old Kil'jaeden. They've had a scale issue lately, and I'm hoping we don't have that with Queen Azhara because she's supposed to be big. She's supposed to be thick.
She's supposed to be thick.
There's a slight problem where usually you have the problem where if they want to make a character big, either you're ankle fighting them or they're stuck in the floor. And I don't know if I want either of those. So I don't know how I want them to fix it, but I want them to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I like bosses where you can see them on your screen, not like what's his face in Black Temple, the first boss, the giant golem thing.
Yeah, or maybe not like Deathwing, where you had to like peel the warts off his back
Yeah, that
or
was a
whatever.
really annoying fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that's not the best way to deal with it, but it does definitely help build the scale of the creature.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
What I would think would be cool? Shoot, it's a Kata dungeon where you're underwater. What's it called?
Um,
Regardless, during the last boss of that dungeon, like it's like a squid guy, and he like knocks holes inside of the
yep.
dome that you're
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I think something like that would be pretty cool.
Like
Where you're inside the dome and you're
you
fighting her,
grow
and
to
she's swimming
size
around
to
you.
fight that thing or something like that.
Yeah, or like even like that, where you grow in size, so you get to see the scale. I don't know. Maybe this is just a pet peeve of mine, but the scale of bosses, I think, is something that really has been suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't laugh. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do, but we'll see what happens.
Now, we have. You want to know what is big,
What's
but isn't going to be big for that much longer? Teldrassil.
that? Yeah.
Now, you could probably. I think this would be the end of the spoiler territory. Right? You say that.
Yeah, I think this is like our last story spoiler.
Is this a spoiler? I mean, everyone knows Teldrassil is burning, right?
Yeah, but they don't know necessarily
Does-
how it's gonna happen. Stuff like that.
Oh, so the dungeon I was thinking of, Throne of Tides. I knew it was something like that. So, Teldrassil is going to be burning. And we have some text about this. Obviously, broadcast text. Unreliable, as all heck, I'd say. You want to tell them a little bit about the burn of Teldrassil here?
Looks like the Horde's up to their usual shit, fucking everything up for the Alliance.
Okay. Can we get a non-biased talk about the burning of Teldrassil here?
Well, it looks like Sylvanas is going to be heavily in this, trying to get the precious Azhara. Nobody knows.
Yeah, so it seems like we're
is.
burning Teldrassil to get control of this Azhara,
Yeah.
It seems like we're trying to stab you. We're trying to stab you a little bit to distract you, so we can nom up all that tasty Teldrassil. Tasty Azhara, I mean.
I don't know. We'll see. They're gonna burn it down, and then the druids are just gonna go crazy.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this? So they're burning down Teldrassil. Do you have any Night Elf characters?
I don't have any Night Elf characters, no.
Okay, just say you do, okay?
Alright.
Let me try then. Bro, do you have any Night Elf characters?
I do. I play Night Elf.
Where is your Night Elf character gonna live?
Probably, in the new capital city, since I won't have a home anymore.
You think? So you think that the Night Elves are gonna relocate to Boralus?
Well, Darnassus is still gonna be there, so
Yeah, but this is like the spiritual home of the Night Elves.
Yeah, and they're gonna be after blood, man.
Yeah, and I've heard talk about this, and my theory is that we're gonna get Gilneas back, or Night, where you're gonna get Gilneas back, and that's where you guys are gonna hang out,
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So it looks a lot better than Teldrassil. So you guys can have that place. We'll take Gilneas.
We're not even. We don't even want it. We're just gonna burn it down. We're not gonna take it. Like, okay, what's in Teldrassil?
You're gonna strip mine it.
Tell me one thing in Teldrassil. Tell me one thing in Teldrassil.
One thing in Teldrassil?
You can give me one thing.
Well,
Can't even think of it exactly.
For the druids, don't they?
Oh, okay. It's still one thing. You know what I'm saying. Teldrassil, Nick's in the next expansion.
Yeah. It's
gone.
I think what might happen is, obviously, you guys are going to burn down Teldrassil, but then maybe in a future patch or something like that, maybe the Alliance is going to strike back. So.
Yeah, we burned down Teldrassil. You guys attack Undercity. It's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a city for a city. Yeah. However, I think Undercity's a bigger loss. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, we talked a little bit about Undercity too. And they got that huge gaping hole, just
You know
begging
what?
to be invaded.
Okay. Okay. Let's not talk about gaping holes here. It's a children's show, bro. But yeah, no, So you guys are gonna take Undercity. I think it's if they do fix Teldrassil, it'll probably be like fixing Orgrimmar, where it took them like they fixed it this expansion, right? No, not Orgrimmar. They fixed Stormwind this expansion, right? Even though
Yeah,
it was destroyed like in Cataclysm.
yeah, and then they just added the memorial stuff for.
So like if they're gonna fix Teldrassil, wait a while. Maybe when they finally do an old god expansion,
Turn into like a horde stronghold.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if that's gonna happen. Because like obviously you're gonna take Undercity, but are you gonna like colonize Undercity, or are you just gonna turn it to ruin?
I don't know. They're attacking Teldrassil for Azurite, and nobody knows what Azurite does in the story, right? So it's like
it's power.
Yeah, it's just like we have to have this.
Let me explain it to you. Gallywix wants it because it looks sick on stabs, and the Rogue Master guy or whatever for Lions wants it because I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he saw that Horde wanted it, I guess.
Well, I think in the Alliance story, Anduin said that we have to take control of the Azhara because the Horde
finally the guy's taking a little bit of charge, like pretty boy Anduin in some charge.
He's showing his true colors here in the next expansion. I can't wait.
True colors. The true colors, if you're wondering for Anduin, they're pink.
They're pink. I think
you heard it here first. True reveal. Yeah. Anduin's a little bit of a prissy. I'm gonna be honest with you. But you know what I'm doing to you right now? I'm taunting you, and this is out of spoiler territory. I said Warfront insults for Battle for Azhara.
Warfront.
Yeah, we got some broadcast text here, of course. No?
I don't think so. I didn't see that anywhere.
Oh yes, you did.
Did I?
Anyway, they're still this is one of the ones where it still needs to be mined a little bit more. The data miners need to sharpen their picks, cut out a little bit more before we really got good info for it. So I think there's some. I think they're interesting. Huh?
What's that?
We're learning a little bit more about Warfront. Do you know what a Warfront is?
I know a little bit about a Warfront. Isn't it more like an RTS kind of thing?
Yeah, except not really. It's basically you gather resources. Okay, do you remember? You know how the like the Mage Tower and the Command Center and all that work, where it's like a collective.
Oh, for your garrisons?
No, for Burning
Yeah.
Shore. It's like that, except on a much smaller scale. So like in the battleground. So like you contribute. Okay, I want to contribute the resources I gain from doing all the battleground stuff or what the whole scenario stuff to build these troops or whatever. And as the bar fills up, when it gets to the max, it builds. So no one player controls it, but the collective controls it. Whatever the 20 people are in there.
Yeah, I can see there's going to be a lot of raging.
And at the moment, but at the moment it's going to be a PvE thing, right? So it's a little bit less rage intensive.
Yeah, but if you get someone in there that doesn't know what they're doing, then people are.
But if you have 20 people, one person isn't going to really, messed up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of the Warfronts yet. Are they coming in game before BFA, or is that going to be a BFA thing only?
I think they're going to be a pre-patch thing. That's not confirmed, but I'm feeling pre-patch. What about you? Do you think they're going to be pre-patched? They haven't confirmed anything.
Well, it looks here like it's probably going to be a pre-patch for BFA. It might be related to retiring our artifact weapons, so.
So
interesting to do.
Do you have the transmog mount, Ro?
I do have the transmog mount.
Bro, you're not cool.
I'm not cool.
I just thought you should know that. You're not cool because you might have the old transmog mount, but you don't have the new one. They're dropping a new transmog / repair mount, whatever you want to call it, next expansion. And it's on a, what do you call those things? A long neck dinosaur? The long neckosaurs?
Yeah, the long neckosaurs. I'm pretty sure that's the technical term for it.
Stegosaurus, Rixaroar. I don't know.
Brutosaur.
They're dinos. You got the long neck dinos, and you got 2 spots for people / repair, and then / repair and transmog not confirmed. But I'm assuming, right? They look like they're going to be the transmog mount.
You know, maybe they'll have a barber on this one.
No, maybe that would be a good one. I think
you've wanted a barber, like a portable barber in game for a while.
I have. What if it's barber transmog? They just don't have a repair on it anymore. They're like, that's what we don't need.
You need to have a repair guy on the side for a vendor.
Yeah, here's what I'm wondering though: how are they going to make this appealing? Right? Because I mean,
look at it.
Well, no. Other than its looks, because during MOP, you had the mount came with a repair guy and a reforging guy, both of which were wicked useful. Then it turned into a repair guy and a transmogging guy, both of which I would say are imperative to your WoW experience.
Yeah.
Right? So then that was the reason to buy that instead of the much cheaper Mammoth from Wrath. But what are they going to do to make this one exciting? What would you do to make this one exciting?
Obviously, you're going to have a repair guy on the side.
Of course. And I assume a transmog guy, right?
You know, maybe like a guy that has the mission table available.
Now that would be interesting. And maybe they wouldn't even have to have a guy. Maybe it could just be like on the back, you know?
Yeah, or something like that. Or maybe it's like, well, because you got to kick them off to make room for your people, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like some like commander guy or something like that.
I had a couple thoughts about this. I was thinking like dual void storage transmog and what's the last one? What's the last thing you can do at the void place? Transmog, void storage. There's one other, right? Who cares, right?
Well, they used to have reforging, but they took that out. So.
Oh, that was it. So it'd be transmog and void storage. I think that they'd have a dual one of those, or a mailbox, which may be a little bit overpowered.
No.
Or a bank. I think a bank would be cool too. Also, we got some really intelligent people in Twitch chat. They're correcting us. They're not called long neck dinosaurs. They're Baronkosauruses. Like Baronka Trump.
Baronkosauruses?
Yeah.
All right.
Which is cool, you know. I don't really care. To me, they'll always be long neck dinosaurs.
Yeah. Or the lawn neckers.
You know, and the people in chat, what do you want to see on the sides of those things? Apparently, I pronounce it. That's how it's pronounced where I come from. Bronchiosaurus. Well, how would you say it, bro? You know what I'm talking about.
Well, they gotta hear placeholder. I don't even know.
Bronchosaurus? What'd they call it?
Barutosaur?
Barutosaur. Yeah, people in chat are saying bank too. I think bank would be nice.
Yeah, bank. I don't think they're gonna put any male guy on there because was it the new allied race for Horde has a male racial engineers.
Believe it or not, what do you call it? Engineers have had a male bot forever, right?
Yeah, it's been in the game forever.
There were other ways of getting mail before this, and then obviously there's a recent Lost Mail quest line for the male elemental, which comes with a male dude.
Yeah.
Brachiosaurus. They're trying to help me in chat pronounce this. I think I pronounced it perfectly. I Bronchosaurus.
How about we just agree that we know what you're trying to say?
No, I think we should agree that I'm right. That would be better for me.
I don't know about that.
Oh, we talked about BFA.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that we're playing a video game here, and the current game has some interesting stuff about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would wager to say something really. Honestly, I'd say the biggest thing since sliced bread, the biggest thing since World of Warcraft started. The trial of styles back. Boys.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Now, Ro, you didn't do
when
the
is
trial.
that starting?
It's starting Monday. It's starting tomorrow, the 5th. Yeah, the 5th tomorrow.
Man. So you better
And
get your
I would say,
transmogs ready, right?
if you're not watching this live, you might be screwed because the trial of style is for a very short period, once a year. And I thought that it was later in the year last year, but they might have changed it. Anyway, so Ro, you didn't do the trial style though when it was current.
No, I wasn't playing when the trial style.
Okay,
was going on.
you're mincing words here. What you're saying is that you weren't committed enough to transmog.
I think I was taking my brief absence from Legion when it happened.
Yeah, as everyone does. And I did the trial style, and now I'm gonna be honest with you. I won the trial style on all of on all the characters who I could play it on, but it's a joke. You know, if I'm gonna give you some hot tips for this, okay? I have some good Mog rules. I'm a good Mog guy. You know, I always say, don't use full sets. Odd slot Mogs are a little bit much, too saucy for television. Avoid tropes like common sets that you see. Don't mix texture types. Take all those rules I'm telling you, toss them out the window for the trial style. If you want to win the trial style, wear full sets, show as much skin as possible, and play a Blood Elf female.
What about a Void Elf female?
That's the Alliance equivalent, honestly.
Yeah.
You're going to win. Like, that's all you got to do. Because the people who judge, they either don't know, or they vote for what they think is the worst one, so that it doesn't affect their score, and then the worst one wins. I saw that happen 3 times.
So how does the trial style work? Like you queue
so
up and then there's random.
You queue up, you get a theme, no one follows the theme. Then you do like a runway thing where it shows 2 people at a time. You vote for the best one, and you do that several times, and then eventually you get the winners based on whoever got the most votes, and it does first place, second place, and third place. Now here's the thing. Here's how much no one follows the theme and they don't care. There's one called Tabard Time, and I queued for it, and out of the winners, I was one of them, and I had a Tabard on. But out of the winners, 2 of the winners didn't have Tabards on.
No tabards at all?
It was the Tabard-based trial. Because no one cares.
Well, I'm sure that's quite disappointing for you. Are you there, Dad?
You can cheat real bad. If you queue with a group of friends, you can basically rig it. Overall, don't do trial style if you care about transmog. But if you want to see some real feats of people in WoW, I don't know if you heard about this, but somebody soloed a plus 22 recently, a plus 22 Court of Stars. Now, I can't even do a plus 22 Court of Stars with like 15 people.
Right. But somebody, I believe it was a Demonhunter tank that did it.
Yeah, it was Vengeance Demonhunter. You know, and we recently had a Vengeance Demonhunter on the show. If you didn't catch that, make sure to rewatch the episode on YouTube to catch that segment. Fantastic. I love the guy. He seemed very nice. But yeah, we have some great footage of this guy. Solos a 22 Court of Stars. Now, of course, he doesn't do it in time.
No, that would be insanity.
Now, bro, I don't know if you guys know this. Now, this may seem, you know, we may seem like we do this haphazardly, but we plan ahead of time. We have a little document. And Ro is put in this document. What do you put on this document next to this clip, Ro?
I put it's much more impressive than soloing Xavius.
No, you said this, but have you ever sold Xavius?
No, I mean, I've never wanted to try. But if you just go based off the math here.
That's just the most BS thing I've ever heard.
I mean, if you think about it, EN, right? It's a beginning expansion raid. And this guy's doing a plus 22, which is harder than probably
but it took him 3.5 hours.
Yeah, but he still did it. So
I don't know.
I think it's pretty damn impressive. Plus 22.
What's the name of this
I
guy?
can't even clear 15 in time, and this guy's soloing a goddamn 22.
Yeah, Quarter Stars is a bitch. Quarter Stars is a bitch. What is this guy's name? We got the guy's name here.
Mani, I think.
Mani. Cool guy. You know, I've always liked this stuff. I've always thought this stuff was wicked cool. But I don't know. It doesn't impress me that much.
I don't know. You're crazy, man.
The Xavier skill's more interesting than me.
How? I mean, I don't know. You're just crazy. I mean, one character right now can do the required DPS you needed for a Mythic EN group. So, you know, you could probably clear that shit easily with a 5-man group. Be able to do in a regular Mythic dungeon.
But there's still like mechanics, you know.
If you don't, you know, you probably burn the boss down pretty quick, but I don't know.
So what I'm getting from this is that you're really hyped on this.
I think it's pretty damn impressive, man. And I would not be able to do anything like this.
Okay.
But I think I'd be able to do an Xavier skill on my Warlock.
Do it then. Do it and record it. Show us next stream. I'll be done. I'll watch it.
Well, I don't know if I'd be able to do it this next week because I'm in the middle of moving. But maybe in the
Okay.
future.
So what I'm glad you don't hear from you. Excuse. I can't do it, Dab. Dab. These people are way cooler than I am.
And has it even been confirmed, like, what difficulty this guy did it on? Was it normal, heroic?
I don't know. They probably said, but I don't know. That was last week. Last week, miles away.
I tell you what, Dab, you find out what difficulty he did EN on, and I will attempt it on my Warlock, and I will record it.
Okay.
Alright?
It was just Savius, though. He stole it.
He didn't solo the whole place?
Might have, but that was the one that was like the world first Savius kill.
See, you know, I don't know. I mean, this guy went through the whole goddamn instance, and that guy didn't even go through the whole instance.
Have you seen people? You've seen people solo Garathi though, right? Is that impressive at least to you?
Yeah,
it was
I've
like
heard,
a
like paladins and stuff like that can do it. Which, yeah, that's pretty impressive, I think. So it's current content, so.
Yeah.
So, you kind of dabble in PvP, don't you?
Do I dabble in PvP?
Yeah.
No. Have I played PvP before? Yes. And am I hyped as heck? Am I hyped as heck about the new Battleground? Heck yeah.
Have you played
it?
I'm
hyped about the new Battleground. Have you seen it? No, I haven't played it. It was up for a brawl recently. I haven't played it yet, though.
It's actually still up right now.
It's still up? I could play it right now. We could have been playing it right now, but instead we're recording the show. I think...
Well, the Seething Shore. Now, if anybody
else... I thought that this was added like a month ago.
Like the Battleground.
This shows how little I know about PvP, but I thought this was added a month ago.
No, this is the only time it's been live in game.
You know, I was probably thinking about when it was added to the PTR.
Maybe. But the Seething Shore is a pretty fun battleground. It's like unique.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's very interesting. Apparently, like you have obviously the goal is to get Azhara,
yep.
And I think you have it's one of the it's sort of I've heard it compared to the Mr. Pandaria battleground. You know the one where you have to like do the carts and stuff because it's varied. You know.
I think this one's like a million times better than that one. But essentially, you get the Horde and the Alliance start out on their ships, and then then you jump down, and then pretty much this Azerite stuff's gonna be spawning in random spots, and you have to go and fight for it.
I think it's cool because it's gonna totally stop griefing or not griefing, spawn camping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I did one this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Well, I did a few, but I'm not sure if this is like a bug or something. But so you have this Azerite that's spawning all over the map, and it started spawning in this one spot, and then it just started spawning in the same exact spot. So we had like 4 stacked on top of each other, So we ended up.
That sounds like a bug.
Yeah, we ended up winning that spot, and we got the win pretty easily because we just controlled that little area.
Yeah, that sounds like a bug. I think it's interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to them to see if they do more battlegrounds like this with the mobile spawn point. That's something kind of like this in Kata. Oh, what's the name of that battleground? Well, the one where there's like the flying around the Zeppelin or whatever, not Zeppelin, airship, and you get to jump down behind enemy lines and there's an achievement for it and everything. I think it's cool. I'm happy that we got in the battleground because it's I mean, playing battlegrounds are stale. It's like how many times have I done Arathi Basin?
Well, first of all, Arathi Basin's the best battleground that's ever been and ever will be.
No, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that I've done it like a million fucking times.
Well, it's a lot better than some of the stuff they came out with. But
you're very. I didn't know you had such an Arathi Basin love.
Oh yeah, dude, I love Arathi Basin. I can do that battleground all the time.
You know, Drew, where's Seething Shore supposed to be located though?
I'm not too sure on that.
I think it's supposed to be near Silithus, because obviously you're supposed to be able to see the sword from.
Makes sense. It's a picture of the sword.
It's odd. It's very lush, so that's what's weird about it.
Maybe people are gonna look at this and figure out some of the future stuff because the sword itself is in Silithus, right? And it looks like it's covered by water. So,
I love the way that you pronounce that, Silithus.
Yeah.
Working it out. I understand. Yeah, you're right. It looks like it's drowned, which is interesting.
And that Azeroth is healing itself, so maybe.
Good for Azeroth. It needs, she needs all the help she can get.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she can't defend herself, and she has to rely on us, which is whatever.
Which we're defending her by fighting each other on top of her.
Of course, fighting
like a normal relationship.
Yeah, we're fighting over her, so she gets all the attention.
We're fighting on her. Anyway,
on her for over her.
You know what I wonder about next expansion though? And this, I know we're talking about current expansion, but we can talk about this one too. Let's think, how many raids have we had this expansion? We've had Emerald Nightmare, that's one. Trial of Valor, Nighthold. No, we had 5. One of which was Trial of Style, which was a short raid. It was a 3-boss raid. 3-boss raid.
Trial of Valor.
So we had like 4.5, I'd say. And that's a pretty good amount. Like last expansion, we only had 3, one of which was a shorter raid. And I'm trying to remember for Mist. What do we have for Mist? We had Mogushan, Terrace, the Bug One, Throne. We had, I think, the same as ones we had in Legion for Mist. And Kata, we had a fair few. But I think it's interesting. Like, are we going to be seeing a ton of raids next expansion, do you think?
I'm hoping we can, at least get the same amount.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, obviously during WoD, like, we were drowned for, new raids. So I'm wondering if we're going to be hopefully seeing a lot.
Yeah, I think this expansion had a pretty good number of them.
I see you're on the official Raid Radio Twitter there.
I am.
Is there some Is there some reason? Is someone trying to brag?
Yeah, the heritage armor, man.
Okay. I don't have the heritage armor. I admit it. Are you happy? You shamed me in front of everyone. Are you happy? I don't have the heritage armor, but you do.
I do.
So tell us a little bit about the experience.
Elves. Right, because I think the Void Elves armor is way better than the Light Fortitude Knight. But I don't know. I feel like there's a little prestigious fact to grinding out some heritage armor. What do you think about that?
I think okay. So wait, you leveled a hunter Void Elf, and then So are you now equipping it on your main?
Well, my main's a Death Knight, and as we know, Death Knights can't be.
No, okay, not your main. I mean your warlock.
Yeah, I have it on my warlock.
So it works flawlessly. Does it just like appear in your transmog tabs?
I think you've seen it. What do you think of it?
I don't know. It's a cool set. I think it's really gaudy, and there's definitely parts of it which I could not see matching with a lot. It's a very strong accent of gold. Oh, look at that! I think the way you've worked it for that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the whole set itself is decent, but
there's definitely
think-
pieces from it that really stand out as awesome. Like
Yeah.
the effect you get from the chest piece, those like kind of weird voidy wings, those are unlike anything else I've seen, and that's cool. And they're really void elf, you know?
yeah, the only problem I have with the chest piece is just more of like a slut mog for
Right?
void elf
Isn't it
here.
just a bra?
Yeah, pretty much.
And of course, you know, you're keeping it classy. You got a tabard on. What tabard is that for the people at home?
So that's what it looks like with the, just no tabard on.
A little bit, you know, a little bit saucy. I don't know, maybe a little bit too saucy for Twitch.
Yeah.
But put it back on there. We don't want to, you know, get the FCC on our backs.
Yeah, I think it looks a lot better when you put a tabard on there.
Yeah, just put a damn shirt on. And the worst part is that okay, I'm calling it the worst, but you might disagree. But that the cool back pieces are linked to the chest, so you
Yeah.
have to wear that chest if you want those back items.
Yeah, but you can cover it up by putting a tabard on, or even wearing a shirt.
You know, that's fine. Oh, that's true. Actually, I've seen it look pretty good with a purple shirt on.
Yeah, which I didn't even consider when I was making this transmog. But what do you think of this transmog altogether, huh? Since you're the transmog master.
I want to be honest with you there. That transmog needs some work.
Needs work. No man.
Dodge the cloak. The cloak looks trash.
This is like a 10 out of 10 here, man.
The cloak looks trash. Gloves need work. Belt looks good. I don't know. Cloak needs work. I'd say weapon needs work too.
The weapon? No, it's like almost. Look at that. It's almost like
Nah,
right on there. And he has
no,
the purple thing. That's
no,
part of the weapon, right?
no, but buddy, no, it's bad. Get some work on it, you know.
I'm pretty sure you told me it was a real good, solid transmog.
I said, I'm gonna quote myself here. I ain't a fucking lie. I said solid, maybe.
Oh, okay. Now you've changed your mind, obviously.
No, yeah, fine, but you know, is it good enough for raid radio?
I dare to say this transmog is better than your priest.
How about you shut the fuck up? Get out of here. You're wrong. You can see in the corner of the screen my priest transmog. My priest transmog is literally revolutionary. I could overthrow a government with that transmog. That's how fucking good it is.
I feel like this transmog is very void elf, especially with the glove thing right here.
Yeah. I don't know. The gloves seem weird. I like the thing is I like the glove item there that you have there. Yeah, I like that. But the other glove is not wowing me. I wish that both of the gloves looked like that.
No, that's what gives it's sort of like, how Michael Jackson had like the white glove.
The one white glove, yeah.
It's like the same thing.
You know, not a lot of people like to be compared to Michael Jackson.
Well, he had say what you will about it, but he had a fashion statement going on.
No, honestly, I respect Michael Jackson's fashion sense, but not much else about it. Now, we're going to be talking about something that hasn't been requested much, but internally, in the Raid Radio, vault, internally, it's been talked about a lot. And it's been something that, certain members of the team have really wanted to talk about, but it's been pushed off forever. Do you know what that is, Ro?
What is that? I gotta refresh my mind here.
You got to refresh. You're the one who keeps pushing it onto me. Titanforging, Ro. Titanforging.
Yeah.
So,
You don't like
what's your
Titanforging
statement
or
on
what?
Titanforging? What are your thoughts on Titanforging? Tell me.
I like Titanforging.
Really?
Personally.
Wrong.
But in game right now, it can get a little ridiculous. Like, I don't think you should be able to go into a looking for raid and come out with the fucking 980 piece or whatever.
Yeah.
Isn't that possible?
Well,
like, haven't you seen stuff like that?
No, 100%. I mean, I have a I've seen people with like 970 pieces from raid, like 970 Acrid Callus or something like that, like BIS trinkets that are 970
Well,
from looking for raid.
my precious warlock here has a 955 heroic warforged.
And my problem. Oh, we're talking about big heroic. I have a 985 necklace. That's my BIS neck. I also have a 985 piece of tier gear, which I can't equip because the current tier is trash. And that feels like shit that I can't equip a 985 piece of gear. That's my problem with Titanforging. But next expansion, I don't know if you know this, but we're going to be having with the Heart of Azhara off the necklace, you're going to be able to upgrade certain pieces. It's going to be the shoulder, helm, and chest, I think, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those pieces will not be able to Titanforge.
Really?
Yeah, and not at all because they didn't want they want that the BIS look for that to be easier. Also, the weapons it's either that they're not going to be able to Titanforge, but I hear that the weapons might be able to Warforge.
Okay. So what are we talking? 5 or 10?
5 item levels, 5, 10 item levels, which I think is reasonable.
Yeah.
Honestly, overall, I wish they'd take Titanforging out of the game.
You know,
I understand the incentive. The incentive is that it's to make old content feel more reasonable or more useful, or to make if you're running like
we're rerunning, fucking Antaurus over and over.
Yeah, or like normal mode in Taurus. It makes the content last longer, but I don't like it how many difficulty jumps it makes. Like I think, in my opinion, the perfect Titan forging system would be in heroic mode. You can get gear that Titan forges to whatever the mythic eye level is.
Yeah.
In normal mode, you can get heroic gear. LFR, you can get current gear. That would mean that if you're a heroic raider, you'd be incentivized to still do normal Antaurus, which would be reasonable. But it wouldn't mean that if you're a heroic raider, you'd be incentivized to do LFR.
Yeah, right.
I think that would be the perfect system, which is...
Isn't that how it is right now? It's 15 eye levels higher. Right?
That's Warforging.
Well, from the heroic jump to the mythic jump, isn't it 15 eye
Oh,
levels?
the gap? Yeah, it's like 15 eye levels. I think that should be the max. And just get rid of Titanforging, just make it Warforging that level. Because in a perfect world, I think they should get rid of it altogether. But I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it gives incentives to rerun some of
I just wish that
content you've been clearing for a while.
If they're gonna have it, I want it to be minimized in whatever way they can do that.
And I think it's nice for guilds that are wanting to push in the mythic, but they might be stuck. So maybe let's run a heroic for maybe this Titanforge piece. Or something.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, of course, I have 10 forged pieces equipped, but like 5, 10 item levels, 20 item levels on a piece doesn't help me as much as you think. Like, it doesn't make a big difference.
Overall, spread across the raid, it's going to make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, I guess. But do you think that people should have to run all difficulties of content for the best chance of getting gear?
No.
Okay.
Because, at the end of the day, it's going to matter in mechanics more than pure DPS numbers. Or healing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I know we actually kind of left the topic about heritage armor. And I was a little bit, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit irritated. You're trying to rub it into my face. But personally, I'll probably be farming the High Mountain Torrent Heritage Armor because it's the best shaman gear in the game. It looks like the best shaman gear in the game. Probably Zandalari Trolls too.
Oh my goodness. We just got a follow from Elfwood723. Thank you so much.
Big guy. Thank you. I haven't actually seen the follow thing. Lovely picture, bro. Looks fantastic. I honestly, I don't know. I think I will eventually farm the heritage armor for Zandalari Trolls and for High Mountain Torrent. Maybe I'll do it for Nightborn too. But that's about it, honestly.
I think it depends. Like, I am not gonna do the Lightforged because to me that armor looks almost too slim.
Do you have them unlocked?
I have them unlocked, but I'm not gonna level.
It just looks like the shitty gear you get on Argus.
Exactly. It looks like a redefined version of that, and it's not.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. And you know, obviously the Void Elf armor here is pretty damn unique. So.
I'd say it's sexy.
Same with the High Mountain Torn.
Oh,
And
which chest piece do you have on that character?
Which what?
What chest piece do you have on that character?
This one has the Slut Mog.
But why? It doesn't look like a Slumog to me.
I'm wearing the tabard.
Oh, what tabard is? Oh, do they give you a tabard for your race?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wearing the Void Elf tabard. And then yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that looks very reasonable. I think it's a cool bow you picked there too.
Yeah, it looked very Void Elfish, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, we've talked about heritage armor, we've talked about Titanforges, but do you like movies, Ro?
Yeah, you know, I'm a big movie guy.
Did you watch the WoW movie?
I did watch the WoW movie.
Cool.
There was a lot of backlash on that, but
I know. Quick from you, like I don't know, 2-minute review. What did you think of the WoW movie?
I thought it was pretty good, but it was rushed. I think with a lot of the stuff, because what they cover, they covered Gold.
They basically covered an abridged version of Rise of the Horde, except more of the Out of the Dark Portal part of it.
Yeah, and they covered like how we started raiding Karazhan and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know.
2 hours for that was a little rushed.
It was like 2 hours and something.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. Was Gul'dan even in, like, during
he was in it a fair bit, actually. He was like the main antagonist.
For when we were going to Karazhan and stuff?
Dude, we didn't go to Karazhan that much. It was mostly, like, Gul'dan coming out of the Dark Portal, humans being pissed about that, and then like a little bit about how Medivh getting corrupted.
Yeah, well,
I
they
thought,
end up fighting Medivh at the end, don't they?
Yeah, a little bit of a tidbit. The World of Warcraft movie was the last movie I saw in the theaters, and that's just 100% true. Whenever that came out.
I mean, you don't really see like Thor or anything like that.
No, I'll watch it when it gets released at home or whatever.
So you know I know. The World of Warcraft movie didn't do too well in theaters here.
No, it did terribly.
I think it did great in China, didn't it?
It did do great in China. Here's what's weird about the World of Warcraft movie. Here's what I think the problem was. I thought it was an okay movie, but the problem was they got a lot of stuff wrong, which put off World of Warcraft fans. Yet it had such a high barrier to entry for non-World of Warcraft fans. Like if you didn't like World of Warcraft, there was a lot in that movie that was trying to push you away.
Yeah. People that didn't play WoW or didn't
know
about the story were like, what the fuck is going on?
But like then they got stuff wrong, which if you are a World of Warcraft fan, is going to piss you off. Like they put Orgrim Doomhammer. No, is it Doomhammer? Whatever. They put Orgrim. I think it is Orgrim Doomhammer. Into the Frostwolf clan, which he wasn't a part of.
Yeah. Which
is like a glaring oversight. Like so much so that I noticed it on my first viewing, like instantly. I'm a WoW nerd. That's who that movie should have been written for, right? Because they tried to do so much fan service,
Yeah.
It's just like they didn't hit the mark.
So,
but the reason we're not talking about this out of nowhere. There's rumors that we're going to get a new WoW movie. And this is pretty breaking news, pretty new stuff here. And I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's going to be okay. I'll probably watch it in theaters. Only because I don't know. I feel like watching this at home. I feel like one of the few redeeming factors for the WoW movie was that it was a spectacle. And those are always better in theaters.
Yeah. But I definitely like to see another WoW movie just because, we obviously play WoW and we like it, so.
And you know what I'm interested in? Are they gonna do another thing like they did with the first WoW movie, with like giving us a bomb-ass Gul'dan staff or a little dingy sword and shield?
That'd be nice. Blizzard usually does that with promotions, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it would be interesting.
All over their games as well, like for Diablo and HOTS.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. I'm hoping that we'll get something like that,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
it would help make the movie a little bit more hype. So, well, before we close out the show here, I want to hear your thoughts on some secret quest and achievements. So stuff that they hide in the game for you to find. That'd be stuff like Lucid Nightmare or the Postmaster achievement or stuff like that. Like, what are your opinion on that?
I
Or
personally
I guess
like
even
a
the
lot.
Riddler's Mind Worm if you go back.
Yeah, the mind worm. I don't know. Okay, so I know a lot of people hated the maze for the Lucid Nightmare, but I like doing that. I thought it was really fun. And I mean, like the Mind Riddler, you just look up a guide and you go from here to here, right? In the Lucid Nightmare, you do all this stuff. There's a couple puzzles you have to do. It takes a while. And then obviously the last part where you go to do the maze that takes the longest, which was pretty fun to do, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was wicked cool. I actually haven't done it, but I've seen videos of it.
You haven't done the Lucid Nightmare yet?
Nope.
Oh man.
Couldn't be fucked.
Jeez, what's wrong with you, Dab? You haven't even gotten your heritage armor, and you don't even have the Lucid Nightmare mount.
Well, you know what? Do you have the Lucid Nightmare on? Show them the Lucid Nightmare mount on your demon. Because I think it look good with White Elf, actually.
I'll do it on the best transmog in the game.
Yeah, I think.
Warlock.
You don't have my account details. How are we supposed to see the best transmog in the game?
I also recently did the Postmaster achievement, so I got that
Oh,
one
okay.
as well. That one
So
was that one was a lot better than the Mind Riddler because just the quests themselves.
And did you buy the Postmaster item or did you farm it?
I bought it.
How much did you spend on it?
60K, I think, or something like that.
You know what's weird? You know what you could easily do? You get like 10 friends. You all go like splitsies on on the quest item and pass it around the group. You could totally do that. But no one does that. You know why? Because everyone wants a thieving bastard and they never trust him.
Well, you know, you also could have someone buy it for 60K and give it to one of your friends.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking, you know.
Because I didn't feel like sitting in front of a fucking mailbox or running around dollaring for like 4 hours trying to figure out where this thing was.
Well, anyway, I mean, the Lucid Nightmare is a cool map. So, overall, do you like these sort of secret stuff in the community?
I do. It adds something to do. And
Certainly. I think the Secret Fighting community is one of the most interesting communities in WoW. Like, you've had a lot of great ones this expansion, I think, any more than any other expansion.
Yeah.
Where it's not just Easter eggs that they're hiding. They're hiding whole mounts and quest lines.
Yeah.
But there is
toys or
a
whatever.
little bit of a fear to that. You put all this work into making such an awesome looking mount and such an awesome quest line, only for like less than 1% of your player base to even attempt it.
Is that the real numbers? Like, I feel like
It's low. It is low. It's at best 3% of the player base, active player base, I'll say, attempt any of these secrets. So it's a little bit higher with the Postmaster because you can buy the item on the auction house. But like for the Lucid Nightmare, yeah, I don't have it, but so do the majority of WoW players.
But I think at the same
it.
time, the people that bother to go do this stuff, it feels more rewarding for them.
Yeah, certainly.
And then you get on this mountain, people are like, "Oh my god, where'd you get that thing?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Oh, you know."
Fuck that noise! I ain't doing that shit.
I don't know. I'd like to see it continued.
So you'd like to see more secrets in the battle for Azeroth?
Yeah.
You know, we've had a great show tonight, bro, haven't we? We had the amazing Demonhunter guy. What's his name again? I forget. I feel terrible now. I forget. Ultrix. My main man Ultrix, my dude, he was amazing, you know. As we said before, contact us if you want to be a class expert. If you're watching on YouTube, you can, of course, check us out on Twitter to see when we tweet. We drop some bomb-ass tweets. Or also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can catch us on Twitch every single week. Starting at 4, we're going to be going a little bit later now. We're looking towards a 2-hour live stream. If that's a little much for you, that's fine. You know, you don't have to watch in one sitting. You can always check it out on YouTube.
Or you got the Twitch VODs as well you can do.
Twitch VODs but Twitch VODs are temporary. If you're going to look for a place to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, I think the Twitch VODs only last 15 days from the broadcast.
Something like that, yeah. And of course, if you want to contact us with questions, concerns, comments, calligraphy, hit us up at the lovable raidradiocontact@gmail.com.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you next Sunday.
Yeah, fantastic. Love you guys, and we'll see you later.